Hello, we're going to work on this InDesign quiz. There's a few things I did not explain thoroughly during class, so I'm going to explain them here in this video that'll aid you in finishing this quiz. Excuse me. So where am I at now? I am in week 13. Actually, let me do this. Let's go to coursework. In week 15, you'll see InDesign Quiz in week 13, and it's labeled this. So we're going to go to week 13. And right here is InDesign Quiz. I'm going to click here, and there's some things we need to follow. And we'll turn in the quiz here. This video will show up in this folder also. So first thing we're going to download this quiz magazine doc. And these are some things that you're going to need to do for the quiz. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can add it into my document, so I don't have to worry about flipping back and forth between InDesign and Microsoft Word. So I can go ahead and close this. I'm going to scroll down, and if there's any questions you have, you can always ask me, but you can always go to the Adobe tutorials section for InDesign. When you click here and type in your question or type in what it is you're looking for, you'll be able to find tutorials on that also. These are the folders we'll be using, but you're only going to be using one folder. So for example, you're going to find it by your classroom number. So if my classroom number is number 9, I'm going to use folder number 3. If it's number 17, I'm going to use folder number 1, so on and so forth. My number is 33, so I'm going to use folder number 3. Here's folder number 3. Let's open it up. In this folder, you're going to find a image of people, some sort of food, a PDF, and your InDesign file. I'm going to open the InDesign file, and in that file is going to be some copy that you're going to be using. What do we do with all this copy? Well, we're going to go back to our folder and look again at this PDF. PDF here tells us everything that we're going to be doing to this copy here. What I like to do is I like to import everything into my InDesign file so I can refer back to it that way versus going back and forth between different programs. Now you can open the Adobe PDF file and just go back and forth that way. My personal preference is to have everything here. So we're staging again. So I'm going to go up to File, down to Place. I'm going to go to Downloads, to folder 3. I'm going to select this thing and all 3 of these. So the people, the food, and the PDF document. We're going to hit Open. PDF document for me comes up first, so I'm going to drag that out nice and big so I can read it. The image, I may change the size of that later. And then the food. Okay. Now you can see my food here does not have a background because it's a PNG file, which is okay. Yours may have a background on it that's white. I'll show you what to do in case you get that. And actually, let me do this. We'll just go to folder 1. I'll grab this one. So I can show you what it is you need to do, in case you have either or. And last but not least, I'm going to need that screenshot I took. So we'll do another file place, go to desktop because all screenshots end up on the desktop. Okay, so some things we're going to need to do here is set a paragraph and character style. Now those I've gone over before. Placing text on a curve, I've gone over that before. Continued text boxes with flow. I've explained that before, but I'll explain it to you a little bit differently. That's so your text moves from text box to text box. This here is going to end up into three different, into different text boxes. But first, I'm going to. But first, I'm going to go ahead and. Where are we at? Add some margins and columns because you need a grid system. So we're going to go to Layout, Margins and Columns. We're going to give it 3 columns. And you can see this starts showing up automatically. Actually, this, I'm going to give it a 1/2 inch, so 0.5 inches. So I need to change my points to picas for measurement. So I'm going to go up to my ruler up here, hold down my control key. And when I click on it while holding the control key, this shows up. So I can change that to inches. Then I can come back here. There we go, change that to a 1/2 inch, which would be 3 picas. So now I've got a framework to work with. Let's take a look at this here. So this tells me, the red tells me how everything should be. I won't go into too much detail with this because it's pretty self-explanatory. So the first, all caps, large green Futuro. Now it says large needs to be the biggest thing on the page for hierarchy, so I know to look there first. Copy that, get rid of it. We paste it back. Change that to Futura. And I'm going to do Futura extra bold, and we're going to make this 24. And I also want to get rid of the hyphenate. So there's my title, and I'm going to use this to create a character style. We're going to call this main title. And it's already set to everything we set it to. We're going to hit OK. Now if I take this, so what I did was I selected the rest of the body copy here and clicked on main title. It's now tied to that, but I don't want to do that. Next we have paragraph style, 8 to 12 leading, century. This one I'm going to skip straight to the paragraph style. We're going to call this one, I'm going to leave it as paragraph style 1. This was century. Eight to 10, so 10's good. Hit OK, and I forgot what the leading was supposed to be. Oh, 8.12 leading. So I'm going to double click on this again. We're going to go 8 point size, 12 with the leading. And there we have that. Now this here subtitle all caps Futura relates to the title. So our subtitle, we have 2 subtitles there. I'm going to select this first one here. I'm going to go to character styles. Let me read that again. All caps Futura. So we'll go subtitle. Or we'll name this one subtitle. I'm going to go Futura, and we're going to make this condensed mediums font. We're going to make this 12. So it's a little bit bigger than our body copy. And then we're going to hit OK. Now I did say all caps, so if I come up here and hover over these 2 uppercase T's and click on it, now it's all caps. I'm going to go to my second subtitle. I'm going to select my subtitle character style. So it's already nice and done for me. And click there like so. Let's see what else. These underlined portions, these are going to be bolded. So for the underlined info, character style 18 point size Futura light. So let's make a character style for that. Make sure everything is deselected. That's why I'm keep clicking here in the blank. Make sure everything's deselected. I guess I need something selected. So increased economic power. Let's zoom in a little bit. Here we go. Increase. Economic power. And we're going to call this underlined. Font family is Futura. We're going to go with light, so let's find the rest of the Futuras here. Oops, Futura. Futura light standard. What I did was I clicked on the arrow over here and then pressed the letter F, and it brought me to all the F's. And here's Futura standard, which should give us some more. Here we go. There's Futura light. Size is going to be 18 points. And we're going to hit OK. If we go back over here, you can see that's really big, and that's okay. That's what I'm looking for. So let's find the other two really quick. Farmers to terms. I've already got that set, so I just click on underlined. It makes the size it needs to be. And the third one here is real burden of debt, repaid loans. There we go. And let's see, place photo on top of the right side of the layout. Here's our photo on the right side. I'm going to apply text wrap. I'll show you how to do that. Add the fruit or vegetable to the layout area and draw a shape around and apply text wrap. So let's make this image a little bigger. Now right now I've got everything set. I'm having my image spread over two of the two column widths here, and it's bleeding off of the edge of the page, which is fine. I'm going to trim it just a little bit, top and at the bottom. And what I'm doing, you see me flipping back and forth here between views. All I'm doing is going between the normal view and the preview. Let's see, am I forgetting everything? So I'm going to apply a text wrap around this photo. And the way we're going to do that is like this. Bring this up here like so. And you can see we've got the text in front of the image, which is what we don't want. So to get the text to wrap around the photo, I'm going to come up here and apply wrap around bounding box. But I'm going to choose my image. So make sure you got your image selected and then click here. And you see that wraps the image around, or wraps the text around the image. I'm going to click on this little plus sign here and draw in another text box. Same width as the column. And you can see it stops right at the text. There's nothing in the text box up here. I'm going to make both of these here the same size. I'm going to draw another text box. I'm going to start way up here this time. There we go. Now we've got a mistake here that we do not want this title by itself, the subtitle. So we're going to move this up a little bit so it comes here with the rest of it. I'm going to move this up so it's so these two columns are even, and this I'm going to bring way down. Actually, I'll bring it to here for right now, so all three of these are even size columns. The next thing I want to do is I want to add in my fruit or vegetable. I'm going to set it here, and I'm going to do some work with the pen tool. I'm going to draw a shape around this vegetable. You notice my vegetable is underneath the text, which is where I want it. And I'm just going to draw this shape, and I'm going pretty quick and crude here. I want you to take a little bit more time tracing around the shape. You can see I'm leaving a margin around my shape, and I'm not tracing it exactly, and that's okay. Then what I want to do is I want to select wrap shape around an object, or wrap around object shape. And you can see what that did here. It moved the shape around, it moved that text around the shape. So now I've got everything that's on here depicted on my layout. So let's answer some of these questions. Okay, put a line of text on a curve. The way we do that is we're going to grab the pen tool, and I'm going to draw a shape. Simple curve like so. And then I'm going to take my type tool. I'm going to grab a little text, copy it. I'm going to click and hold on my type tool. I'm going to grab type on a path tool. And what I do is I clicked on this path here. I'm going to paste, and I've got my text right there. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. 18, let's bring that way down. 12 is fine. Light's a little too light. Let's go with medium so we can actually see that. And I need to get rid of this black outline here, so I'm going to grab my direct select tool, click on the line, and I'm going to come up here and just choose none. And that gets rid of my outline there. Continue box with text flow. That's what you saw me do here when I clicked on the little red plus sign to get the text to move to the next box. Break text frames, run script. Similar thing, having the text move from box to box. How's a paragraph width determined? A paragraph width is determined. Paragraph should be twice the length of the alphabet. So around 50, 55, 60 characters. That's going to be letters, numbers, spaces, and punctuation, which would be about that long. So it's not only letters. How is leading decided? Leading is decided, we don't want the descenders from one line smashing into the ascenders of the next line. So we don't want like this descender of this Y or the descender of the P to run into the ascender of this D or this D here or this H. So we have a nice amount of space between both lines so they don't touch. Text wrap, I showed you that right here. This is wrapping the text around an image. And we don't want the hyphens in there, so I'm going to select all this text, go to paragraph, and uncheck my hyphenate button. So how big should a typeface be for CMYK? It needs to be 20 point sizes or bigger. So this here is 24, so we could add color to this if we wanted to. This here is 8 and 18, so this is all going to stay black. And this here is 12, so that's going to stay black also. Now the reason why this stays black is because when we use CMYK, that's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. When we build those dots of colors up, they need space to build up. And in these small, anything smaller than 20 point size for letters, for text is too small. But for these bigger letters, 20 point size and bigger, that's plenty of space for those dots to build up and we can perceive the color with our eyes. Otherwise, too small, it gets real muddy. And we should have a combination of serif and sans serif. You're going to demonstrate the knowledge of when to use what kind of typeface. So again, when you're going to do that serif and sans serif and how you're going to have those work on the page here. You're going to develop a hierarchy and a sense of unity. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that before I end this video. Well, before I continue, I'm going to show you, if you have a white background, how to get that to wrap also. So we're going to go here, I'm going to move in, take my pen tool, and I'm just going to draw a shape around here. Leave a bit of a margin. Then we're going to wrap around object shape. We don't want this going on right here, so that looks a little bit jumbled up. I'm going to select my outline and then my fruit or vegetable here. I'm going to move it down. Just move it out of the way. There we go. I'm going to bring let's bring this so the white is not on top of the image. I'm going to shrink this down some. Make sure I have them both selected. When I shrink these, I'm going to hold down the Shift, Option, and Command keys and shrink that down. There we go. what I'm looking for, I don't want just single words left by themselves. That's why I'm moving this around so that I don't have any single words alone. There we go. This paragraph here is up too far by itself for this column, so I'm going to move it down. So this is a start that you can have something to go off of. Alright, so if you have any questions, you can shoot me an email. We can Zoom, or I can probably answer it through email. But you're going to decide how these paragraphs are going to sit. I should not see anyone's quiz looking like mine.